What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Vegans Who Live podcast, hosted by your favorite vegans. We got Brooke Sellers, aka Miss Meatless Muscle, and myself, John Thomas, aka the Bodybuilding Vegan. And today we have one of the coolest, kindest, most special guests I've ever met in my life. He goes by Yabonks, but his real name is Alex. What's up, Alex? How are you doing?
I'm doing great, John. Thanks for having me on the show, John, Brooke, and Sean, and everybody involved on the Vegans Who Live podcast. I've been a longtime listener, so I'm honored to be here.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And Brooke and I just got the pleasure of hanging out with you for a little bit. So this is completely unscripted, dude. I got nothing for you, but we're just going to run through. We're going to get to know a little bit about you, about your background, why you moved to Florida, what you do with your spare time, things like the crypto industry, animal sanctuaries, going to the gym, eating food. Like we got a lot of topics to cover. I've already talked a lot, so I'm going to ping pong this over to Brooke in case she has anything to say, since I didn't bring her on really.
Yeah. So for our listeners, a lot of people may not be familiar with you. Me and John know you as a huge animal advocate, and you rescue animals. You do a lot to give back and to help animals in need. You're also in great shape. You are Vegan Who Lives. You're jacked.
Hey.
So, is there anything that you want people to know about you, like before we get into the details and, how you got started and all of that good stuff?
Yeah. First thing I want to say is support Karma Farm Sanctuary, my 501c3 nonprofit animal sanctuary in Micanopy, Florida. I'm wearing my shirt right now, Karma Farm Sanctuary. We're a small boots on the ground operation that does a lot of really hard work to rescue animals that are in need from animal cruelty cases. And we provide lifelong care for over 30 forever home residents there that we have rescued. And we rescue hundreds more and foster them into safe, secure, vetted homes and other animal sanctuaries where they will live lives full of happiness, peace, love, and comfort for the rest of their days, away from all the suffering they once endured. So if you are passionate about stopping animal cruelty, and if you love animals, please support Karma Farm Sanctuary. You can find all the links in the description of this podcast. You can also go to @Karma Farm Sanctuary on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, basically everywhere. And we need all the Patreon supporters that we can get to help us grow our mission. So I just want to start out with that. That is my greatest passion in life. So thank you for allowing me that opportunity.
So
of course, yeah.
I want to jump in. We asked Alex to asked him to tell us about himself. And of course he jumps into Karma Farm. Clearly that's a big part of his life. And before he'll even say anything about who he is, he's out here trying to raise money and awareness and funds to take care of these animals. I have a yes or no question, Alex.
Yeah.
Are you an animal lover?
Yes, absolutely.
That was two words, but we'll go with yes, absolutely.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So see, here's the difference between you and I. I'm not a typical animal lover. People will be like, John, would you roll around and wrestle with the family dog? And I'm like, no. How about the cat? No. How about the pig? No. But all three of those are a big yes for Alex. He's asked me to go wrangle pigs with him, save them. That's part of why I got the head tattoo. So when he says he's an animal lover, he doesn't mean just dogs and cats. He doesn't mean he just doesn't eat them. Like, he truly loves geese and pigs and goats in the same way that I love humans. Like, it's incredible to see his compassion and actually no hands offness. He's there doing everything himself. So when he said boots on the ground, that's what it made me think of. And I got really long-winded here. I know Brooke is an animal lover. We know Chief, her pit bull, but yes, you are as well, sir. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Well, thank you. And you both have actually done so much for Karma Farm Sanctuary and animal welfare in general. Just you guys being so successful and influential in the vegan and or plant-based bodybuilding and fitness space has such a huge impact on thousands and millions of people over time that you are really doing an incredible amount of work for the animals, whether you realize it or not. And I know, John, you specifically have tattooed your head vegan as one of the stunts for our last big fundraiser for Henry the Pig. And you helped us raise over $8,400 in a week, which was incredible. And it allowed us to build out a new pasture that will house an animal forever going forward. And that animal right now is Henry the Pig, which you guys, most of you probably know and love already. And I want to give a big shout out to the co-founder of Karma Farm Sanctuary, Kelly. She is there right now taking care of the animals. So big shout out to Kelly and our amazing board of directors and all the volunteers and donors that help us, because this is a giant community effort.
Amazing. So how did, like, where did you get the idea to have your own animal sanctuary? And did it start with like one animal or multiple animals? Like, how did it all begin?
Great question. It started when Kelly and I bought a farm in Central Florida, 5 acres with a small little house on it. And at that time, we were volunteering for different animal sanctuaries. So we knew animal sanctuary owners and volunteers in the area. And once they caught wind that we bought a farm, then the next big animal emergency that came up that didn't have a place to go, they asked us if we could house this pig that was going to be killed the next day, that was in an animal cruelty situation. And we said, yeah, we'll figure it out, I guess. So the next thing you know, we're rescuing Scarlet the pig. And I remember we stayed up all night with mosquito nets over our faces, building a pig pen under, like, we turned our carport into a pig pen. And then I spent the next week or two learning how to fence off an acre of woods for her pasture. And that's where she still lives to this day. That's how we got started. It was a case of need. And we just jumped in when there was that call for help. And we just didn't stop.
Yeah, kind of like fostering in a way. Like, did you guys intend to like have your own nonprofit animal sanctuary, or were in the beginning were you like, yeah, we'll just kind of like foster them, if you will, and then send them on their way when they have a place to go?
Exactly. We did not have a plan to start a nonprofit. It all just happened organically. And as we rescued Scarlet, then we rescued Dudley and Mildred and Cutie and some other ducks that were in bad situations. And then we rescued Godric the goose. Many of you know Godric the goose. That's where my namesake Yabonks comes from. He loves being called Bonks. That's his nickname. That's what my whole YouTube channel got named after. It was my rescue goose. So we rescued them, and it just kept going. And eventually, after about a year or two of this, we realized eventually we're hitting ceilings with our income and our time and our own labor. And we were like, how are we going to sustain and grow this rescue effort? So we incorporated into a nonprofit organization, and we started accepting donations. And then about 2 years after that, we applied for our 501c3 with the IRS, and we became a tax-deductible 501c3 charity that is now basically, it's basically owned by the public now. And we are just the servants and the directors that work there to do this work. And we are under all sorts of, financial responsibilities and obligations to do things by the book. And it also means that anybody's donations in the US, at least, are tax deductible. So you can write off your donations on your taxes to lower your taxable income burden and potentially lower your taxes. So if you guys want some tax breaks, donate to Karma Farm Sanctuary. Hey.
We'll take all the tax breaks we can get.
Yeah. So that's the progression of things. And then that was about 6 years ago. So
wow. Crazy.
Yeah.
So you alluded to Yabonks, the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Tell me, because we've heard about the Karma Farm. Tell me a little bit more about that, what you do on there, and maybe why somebody would be interested in following you.
Sure. So the Yabonks YouTube channel started out because I was trying to help some crypto communities I was in and they didn't have great information about the project, or it was confusing. So I was making videos explaining how things work with this specific project. And then I started explaining how blockchain technology works, how to use crypto wallets, how to research different crypto projects and companies, how to look out for scams, all these different things that are so important in that space. And that YouTube channel went from a couple dozen subscribers to a couple hundred to 1,000 to a couple thousand to now I'm at like 160,000 and growing quick. And hold that thought. I want to show you guys something. So talk amongst yourselves for 20 seconds.
Hey, he's pulling on me. He's just running away mid podcast.
I know, I'm nervous. What is this going to be? It's probably his. Oh my gosh, that is so cool, Alex.
So I finally received this, the Silver YouTube Content Creator Award, and you can see it's like a mirror too. But yeah, it's for passing 100,000 subscribers. The Yabonks channel, they sent me this with a letter from the CEO of YouTube, and it's a meaningful thing for me because I put so much time and effort, so many all-nighters over 3+ years, so much work and time and dedication, so much community support to get this. This is huge. I actually I was going to make a video about this, but you guys are the first to see it. It took a long time to go through the vetting process through YouTube's vetting process before they send this to somebody. But I passed the whole vetting process, and they sent me a letter from the CEO with my plaque. And the next one you get, I think, at 1 million subscribers, you get the gold plaque, I believe.
That's
we'll
amazing.
have you back on when you get that gold plaque, dude. Congrats. I don't know how much people listening to this know how hard that is or what an achievement that is. It's definitely harder to get subscribers on YouTube, I feel, than followers on Instagram or friends on Facebook. So really great work there. And I already know the answer to this, but I want you to tell me a little bit about the backstory, because somebody's going to see you at 160,000 and be like, oh, he probably got there overnight or had one video pop off. But how did you build that kind of base? What did you have to do?
There a lot of stuff. I would say the most important thing was consistency, because you never know which video is going to pop off. So I just told myself I would publish one video a week at minimum. And I've stuck to that pretty good. There are times where life stuff comes up, or like right now I'm kind of transitionary. So I haven't posted in 2 or 3 weeks, but for the most part, for the last 3+ years, I posted at least one video a week, whether that was a live stream or a video. And that consistency built up my followers. They know to expect my videos. They get fresh content. And then also YouTube, the algorithm, I feel like, at least personally, they can't ignore me now. I'm not going anywhere. YouTube, like, send me the attention, send me the subscribers, and recommend my videos out there, because I'm just going to keep hammering you with videos. Mr. Beast style, like that was kind of his thing. He's like, just keep going. Eventually, you start gaining some traction and snowballing. The second big thing that helped the most initially was networking. I made my subscribers one friend at a time. And I did that until at least 1,000 subscribers. So that first 1,000 subscribers, I was like meeting people on the street and having like, oh, hey, how are you? Oh, you new to the neighborhood? Yeah, great. Yeah, I run an animal sanctuary. Cool. Also, I'm a YouTuber. Yeah, pull me up. They pull me up on their phone, and I will click subscribe on their phone for them. And I'll be like, thanks, check me out. I got 700 to 1,000 subscribers that way. And in Discord community chats, Telegram chats, Instagram, you name it, I was telling people about my YouTube channel and then asking them if they would subscribe and support me. And that built that core base that gave me the core amount of view time and comments and likes and engagement that I needed to really start snowballing this thing and for more people to start noticing.
Yeah. That's a huge achievement. You should certainly be proud of yourself. And I mean,
Thanks.
The people who are in social media, they know, like, I know how big of an achievement that is. So yeah, that's really impressive, and can't wait to see you at 1 million soon. That'll be awesome.
I'm so excited. Fingers crossed, you guys.
I think like a common similarity here between YouTube and between Karma Farm is people can look at where it's at now and think, oh, I need to be perfect to get started, or I need to have everything laid out in front of me. But really, I think it's just persistence. Like you said, like you found an animal and you found out a way to take care of it. Same thing with YouTube. You literally knocking on people's doors just to get a couple people to subscribe. But if you have that tenacity and work ethic, whatever you apply it to will eventually become successful. At least that's what I found in my own personal life. And then looking at people like you as inspiration. So with all of your thousands, hundreds of thousands of subscribers, is your channel monetized?
Oh yeah, it got monetized super early on. I think I was at 1,100 to 1,200 subscribers when I got the amount, because you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. And I was doing a lot of long form content in these crypto communities that were hungry for that information. So they would watch the full 1, 2, 3, 4 hour long videos I was making. And I got my watch hours very quickly. So once I hit 1,000 subscribers, I was basically monetized.
And what do you do with that money?
I put it in the animal sanctuary. All my money I've been making for the last 6 years, I've put 6 figures into the animal sanctuary over that time. And that's just kind of how I've done it. I'm like, it has always been like a mission of need. Like, the sanctuary needs more money. How do I get more money? Well, my software engineering job my software engineering jobs and contracting gigs pay very well. But all of a sudden, my YouTube started making more, and it was scalable. No longer was it just straight time for dollars. I had 5, 6, 7 revenue streams now between ads, affiliate marketing, sponsored videos. That's my big one. Memberships. I've got members on YouTube. Please join the Yabonks YouTube members. It's like $5 a month, and it helps out big time. I have a Discord community with like 1,000 people in it. And I also have a Discord membership for VIP members. That's $5 a month. And so I've got Discord members. I've got Buy Me a Coffee members. I've got Patreon members. All of those different revenue streams flow in. And then that allows me to scale my business, which allows me to scale the animal sanctuary.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very impressive. I know, I think people probably really underestimate how much it costs to run an animal sanctuary. Like, I mean, God forbid, I know like what dog vet bills cost. And you know, I can only imagine like what it's like. Do you feel like you have a lot of overhead? Like, is there like, what do you guys spend the most money on? Is it like vet care? Is it like food?
Great question. So it's a roller coaster. And at times we will get hit with multiple large vet bills from surgeries or treatments. And those can oftentimes be $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. We had one bill that was $12,000 for a major surgery. And when that stuff happens, we put it on credit cards, and then I would hustle around the clock basically to try to get the money and to pay that down. So it'd be like, we're doing good. We're in the green by a lot. And then all of a sudden it's like big expense, big expense, big expense. Now we're in the red by a decent amount that, you know, is pretty scary. And then it's, you know, God has always provided and given us the opportunities and the willpower and strength and dedication to just keep it alive, keep it growing. And all along the way, all of the surrounding businesses and social media accounts have been growing as well, along with my personal and professional networks, including making amazing friends like you two. So yeah, biggest expenses, vet bills, because when they come hard and fast. Second biggest is food, like hay and the feed, fruits and vegetables, supplements for all the animals. That adds up. And then infrastructure, fencing materials, construction materials have gone up so much over the past few years, just like food inflation costs. And then on top of that, labor. It's not really something you can calculate directly, the amount of time and labor we put in, but there's an opportunity cost there. For every hour, Kelly and I would be feeding or caring for the animals or shoveling poop or cleaning houses or maintaining the property, doing all this stuff. That's an hour taken away from me working on a highly lucrative jobs and business gigs. So there's an opportunity cost there as well. And that's why volunteers are so important, because it's not directly obvious, but every hour a volunteer helps us with is an hour I can make more money to fund and support the sanctuary.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's definitely a lot to keep up with.
Yeah.
Why have
So,
kids? You can start an animal sanctuary.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, need to have a bunch of children like the Amish and like put them to work on the farm early, get them working young, and it's free labor, right?
Built your little army. I love that.
Oh my gosh. Well, you said you rescued a lot of animals from animal cruelty cases.
Yeah.
So like, what are some of the animals that you have and the conditions that they were in previously? Where were they rescued from?
Well, it's been a long 6 years, and these animals, most of them have long lifespans. So I'll try my best to remember. Godric, the goose, aka Bonks, he was on the side of the road outside of a hardware store in a tiny, like, I don't know, 12 by 12 crate. And this is a big, tall bird. So he was scrunched up. He couldn't open his wings. He couldn't bend his neck. And he had bumblefoot on his feet from the grate, from the hardware cloth on the bottom of this crate he was in. And apparently he had been in there for months. And his elbows were bloody and featherless from him trying to open his arms. And he was miserable. He was gray and pallid looking instead of his bright orange. His eyes were dull and sunken in, like he had given up, and the hardware store owner said some lady dropped him off there and he didn't know what to do with the bird. And we asked, can we take him off your hands and give him a good life? And he said, yeah. And he still follows up with us on him and is happy that we were able to provide a space for him to be a goose. And he wasn't going to make it in that crate any much longer. And we had to do all the medical treatments ourselves on his bumblefoot. We had to treat him. We healed up his feet, his elbows and arms healed up. He stretched out. He would get winded just walking a few feet because he was confined for so long. He had no cardiovascular health. And now he is the most oppressive, beautiful creature you've ever seen. Most intelligent, emotional eyes. His color is all back. And he's my best friend. He's a goose. So that's Godric. Scarlet came from a situation where she was going to be killed the next day because she grew too big for her, for the owners, quote unquote owners, children, who were two daughters, little girls that wanted a pet pig like Miley Cyrus. And so they got this pot-bellied pig, and they are often sold by unscrupulous breeders as mini pigs or teacup pigs. And they're like, oh, they'll only get 50 to 70 pounds. They're like a house pet. You'll be fine. Well, they quickly are 100, 150, 200 pounds in, 6 to 12, 18 months. And then it's no longer really safe for a 6-7-year-old little girl to be, playing with this pig necessarily, even though they're often very kind and loving and social creatures. But they were like, oh, the pig's too big. We're just going to kill it. And we're just like, what? And they had put this pig in like a bad little situation, a makeshift little pen that was not big enough. It was a bad situation. And that's when we got called in by other animal rescue organizations to see if we could negotiate with this person to get Scarlet out of there. And they agreed. And the little girls, they had pictures of them like painting Scarlet's little hooves red like fingernails and dressing her up like a doll, and that Scarlet was sleeping in bed with the little girls like a puppy. And they're just like, okay, too big, kill it. So that's often
Crazy.
The thought process with animals that most people conventionally treat as lesser thans, like lesser than a dog or a cat in our society in the United States, at least. And so now she is the happiest, most loved pig with all the belly rubs and treats and all the space she could ever want. she's so smart. John, you got to interact with her and you saw her. We trained, or she already knew how to sit like a dog on command. She's so smart.
Yeah. Literally, I mean, it made me that wag their little tails, will eat apples or whatever else out of your hand. It really opened my eyes. Again, I'm not like the world's biggest animal lover, but I guess prior to that visit, if they said, would you rather pet a dog or a pig? I'd be like, duh, a dog. But after the visit, there's no difference. I mean, and even with you with Godric the goose, like there's not much of a difference there, maybe slightly in intelligence, but like I've met a lot of animals that are kinder than people. We're all animals at the end of the day. And I think I'm going off on a tangent here, but I want to put this out there. The whole fundraiser for Henry the pig and seeing what you do in person, it opened my eyes, because from a financial standpoint, if you're like, oh, this pig needs $12,000 for surgery, I'm like, how many other healthy pigs could we save with that money? And that's the logical kind of cynical side of me. But then seeing what you do and seeing how people love these animals, even with the hardware store person checking up on Godric year after year, I don't know if they're vegan or not, but they've found love in their heart for this goose. And if they can find it for a goose, they can find it for anything. Same thing with the pigs. If you can love a pig, if you can donate for a pig, if you can want a pig to not be killed because it's a little too big, you can share that with any animal. So I think Karma Farm and what you're doing, it seems sometimes, maybe not financially, to me, a super logical person, the most straightforward way, but it's how we're going to change people's minds. And then once we change their minds, everything else will fall into place. So just want to say thank you for helping change my thought process. Because if it wasn't for you, I probably wouldn't view this in the way that I do now.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And thank you for all your help and all those great insights. That's what I've learned over the years as an animal sanctuary founder is the impact we have, the biggest, most meaningful impact we have isn't just each individual life we save, which is incredibly important and valuable, but the impact we have on the hearts and minds of other people and changing their perspectives and helping in this overall paradigm shift of our society, where we now recognize the sentience of so many more creatures and value their lives and recognize their ability to feel pain and suffering, and our empathy as humans to want other beings that can suffer to not suffer and to feel love and to have lives that are comfortable, happy, loving, and healthy, just like our own.
Yeah, I think it's impossible too to not make connections with animals when you live with them and you care for them as well. And I've noticed that with every single animal sanctuary I've been to, or like even I follow on Instagram. It's like you go there and the workers and the volunteers who are there like regularly, if you're, you know, like I don't go very frequently, but like when I do go, they can tell me like every single behavior, tick, preference, whatever about every single animal. And it's like my dog. Like, so yeah, I can definitely understand that, because it's like, would I pay $12,000 to save my dog? Like, absolutely. Like, because
Yes.
I have that connection with him and I love him. Like, it is like, he's like in my mind, because I know him and I live with him, like he is different than other dogs. So like, yeah, I could save a lot of dogs with $12,000, but like, he's my dog. And like, I think that's the kind of beautiful connection that like you can have with animals if you allow yourself to have that, and like you view them that way and you view them as more than just an animal and you respect them, because you can have that connection that I think is just so insightful, and it can teach you so much about yourself and about life and about the universe. And that is one cool thing also I noticed when I was volunteering at animal sanctuaries is like farm animals are a little bit different than domesticated animals, because like they're like people. Like if they don't want you touching them, like they're gonna let you know. Like they want their space too. And like just the power of like the like cows and pigs, like when they're like, all right, yeah, no, like you're in my space, like it was just really I don't know, just interesting to me. And like it definitely changed my perspective on interacting with like those kind of like farm animals, because they just there's so much to respect about them. So I feel like when you have those close connections and interactions with those animals, especially like you do daily, and you are kind of their savior in a way, which also kind of creates this bond, it's just a really unique experience. And I can definitely see wanting to fight for every single one of those animals, because they're your pack, basically. Like that's your pack.
Yeah, they are family. Absolutely. Each one becomes like somebody's dog. Like we rescue dogs and cats too, and the pigs and the goats and the geese, all of them, they are just as important to us as family members as the dogs and the cats. And it hurts just as much when you lose them. And that's when you realize, when you care and love a pet or a companion animal day after day after day for years on end, that bond is kinship, and the grief you feel afterwards is heavy. And that's another thing about sanctuaries that most people don't realize, is every time you lose an animal, like, it hurts bad, and you got to figure out how to deal with grief on like a whole nother level, because it's like every year maybe you're losing 3 or 4 animals from old age and natural causes, and those animals are like your pets, like your family pets. And you lose a dog or a cat like once every like 8 to 15 years or something, and every time it's like a traumatic life event for people who have pets. It's like that 3 or 4 times a year, and there's a lot of burnout in the animal rescue and animal sanctuary communities because of that. And it can be something that's hard to cope with, which we have found to be the case as well. But you gotta pick yourself up from your bootstraps and carry on, because the other animals still need to be cared for, and other animals need to be rescued still.
Yeah, that would be tough.
How many do you have currently, residents?
Approximately 30 at the moment.
Wow, that's a lot.
It's a lot, and it's been 30 consistently for a couple of years. So as other ones pass on, and then new rescue opportunities arise that there are no other options except for us to step in, then they will fill the space that the others left behind, because the infrastructure is in place already. And that's one of the one of the useful things about scaling and growing the animal sanctuary and doing these fundraisers, is when we build out new infrastructure, that infrastructure will often outlast the lives of these animals. And this infrastructure can last 20, 30, 40, 50 plus years if you use the right materials, even in the swampy Florida subtropical jungle with a lot of rain. Like these steel fences and T-posts and everything, and the houses we build, they'll last a long time and will be used by multiple animals over the course of those materials in the life of the sanctuary, which hopefully will live on long past me and Kelly and others, because it's now a 501c3 nonprofit charity that is bigger than us. And we have put legal frameworks in place as an organization that this thing will continue on regardless of who the directors are. So at some point, if any of us have to step away, or like we get so old that we can no longer do the work, then other people will be able to step in and be voted in by the board of directors to take over as president and CEO and vice president and the volunteers. So hopefully this organization is a living, breathing thing for hundreds of years to come, to save thousands and tens of thousands of animals, more importantly, to affect millions of people and be integral in this paradigm shift that we're seeing in society towards a kinder, more compassionate world towards animals.
That's incredible. I think there's nothing better you can do with your life than leave some sort of legacy like that lives on, that's bigger than you. And you've already set that up in place. I have 2 more points about Karma Farm. Then if Brooke has any, we can do that. Then I want to change gears.
Yes.
Point for question 1, since I already forgot the second. Where approximately are you guys located?
We are in Micanopy, Florida. Micanopy. Micanopy, Florida, about 20 minutes south of Gainesville, Florida, where the University of Florida is. We're out in the middle of nowhere. It's a beautiful area, great neighbors. It's a very secure area. We've got a whole bunch of community and neighbors that look after the sanctuary as well. It's really become a community thing there. It's great. And we have volunteers there. If you do want to volunteer, come visit. It is by appointment only because it's, everything's on a strict schedule there. So just DM us at Karma Farm Sanctuary if you ever want to tour, if you ever want to come volunteer. We have big volunteer days. It's a great opportunity to come see the animals, put in some of the work, and then you can see that work live on for years and years and years. And then we try to post as much to social media to show everybody the animals just doing fun, happy, hilarious things. So you guys can all follow along. Yeah. So Micanopy, Florida.
Oh yeah. All right. I asked that because I already knew. I think this is just the most crazy nuts thing ever. So I was born and raised in Gainesville. You've been in Micanopy. Turns out prior to visiting you, I had been within walking distance of your house. Like
that's right.
Within half a mile, because my best friend at the time, Tommy Ray, lived in Micanopy. We would hang out every single day. And she's the first person that told me eating a hamburger is killing a cow. If it wasn't for her, I don't know when I would have gone vegetarian and then later vegan. And y'all happen to be within like literally a 10-minute walk. It's just nuts how small the world is sometimes. Yeah. But that was point one. And I did remember point two. So if somebody's listening to this and it's maybe tugged on their heartstrings a little bit, and let's maybe put some parameters. They're too far away to make the trip out there to volunteer. For whatever reason, they're too poor right now to be able to donate some money. Maybe it's hard times, but I just want to put it out there. There's so many ways to support. One, yes. Share this podcast. That'd be awesome. Two, you can follow and subscribe to Yabonks and to Karma Farm Sanctuary on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, and then share stuff, because you don't have to put money out. You don't even have to really put time out if you don't have time to volunteer, but anybody can hit that share button, put this in their story, put it on their page, get the word out there, and basically spread what you guys are doing. I think that's the true value. If you guys turned off all the cameras and had no social media, you're changing 30, 35 lives at a time. But with social media, you can change thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, YouTube, or millions. So, guys, please support him. That's all I got for Karma Farm. Brooke, did you have any more questions on there?
I guess maybe not for Karma Farm, but for just you, for someone who is, just totally schedule full and life totally full, as far as your career, your side gigs, your side hustles, personal life, caretaking. How do you balance it all and still find time to, eat right, make good choices for your health, because you're in amazing shape and you just went through a crazy cut that we watched on social media, which was insane. So, for people listening, how do you find time to make those healthy choices and still work out and stay on top of your health and your fitness?
By the grace of God. It is a balancing act, and oftentimes I am just trying my best. I am not perfect. I try to just do the best I can, and I try to listen to my body and try to stave off burnout as best as I can. So it's a balancing act. I have to be adaptive, and I have to really go for what I deem to be the highest priority, most effect that I can activities at that moment in time, and also prioritize self-care. So that way, as I'm doing all of this stuff and I'm going out, I'm getting the money, I'm building these connections, I'm doing all the business stuff and the animal rescue stuff, that I'm also maintaining my physical and mental health. So that way I don't get out of whack and end up in a mental hospital somewhere in a straitjacket, because this stuff can really get to you. And I think anybody in this modern day and age can relate to that to some degree, because even just having a 9-to-5 job and trying to bodybuild is a lot, right? Bodybuilding is a lifestyle. It's something that personally brings me balance and centers me. So when I'm not bodybuilding or distance running, I am not as effective, and I'm not as robust. And I have to maintain my robustness to be able to power through all of the long hours, all of the opportunities that come my way, and to also maintain that mindset of calmness, kindness, prosperity, friendliness, and all those things that are so important in our daily lives, interacting with other people. So I think, I don't know what the answer is if there's one answer of how do I do it. Just like you guys, I think there's a lot involved. A lot of it's who we are, individualism, like us as individuals, our genetic capacity for work, things like that. The faith that we have in, like for me personally, my faith in God that I am going down the right path and trusting my gut that this is the right course for me, and that no matter what happens, everything's going to be okay. And that the things I need to accomplish my missions that I set out for myself will be provided. And I think having that faith also increases my personal robustness to keep on keeping on. So that's really that. And then with bodybuilding, I guess I just really listen to my body. If I'm pushing it too hard, I deload, right? I don't like if I am having a hard time getting out of bed because I've been going too hard in my systemic fatigue levels over many weeks, like during my long cut, at times I was just like, oof, I've overdone it. You know, I did too many steps last week, plus my strength training, and maybe I didn't sleep as good. So maybe I need to back off. Maybe I need to take an extra rest day or two. And I balance it day by day. Not a lot of people can do that. A lot of people will need a coach to help guide them through that. And oftentimes I would also utilize coaches in the space like John or Rachel or whoever to help me, I guess, get a third party perspective on my situation, let them know what's going on and how I'm feeling, and then use that to be able to get valuable feedback. Like, hey, maybe you need to back off a few days. Maybe your workouts, you should go not to failure this week. Maybe you need to just do some light workouts for a week or two, deload a little bit, and then come back hard when you're feeling more rested. That's been super instrumental to me.
Yeah. I like that answer. I like that better than honestly giving like different tips and advice, because I think honestly for every excuse you can find a solution, and then there's always like another excuse. It's like whack-a-mole kind of.
Yeah.
for some people, like you give them, okay, well you don't have time, so let's make time, but then they're tired, or then they're I like the answer of like, honestly, I just do it. Like I just make it work, because truly that's really what it's all about. Because we do all have, every single person has a million things going on, and they have a million excuses that they could make. But it's really about, at the end of the day, if there's a will, there's a way. And like, if you can't do it, that's fine. But then also, like you said, kind of like with YouTube and everything else in your life, your sanctuary, it's all about that consistency and like just consistently showing up time and time again. But yeah, your cut was amazing. So you absolutely killed it. So now what are your goals? Are you like bulking back up? Are you maintaining?
So I am doing a maintenance phase now. So I did a 12-week cut. I lost about 25 pounds, and I went from 180 pounds to 155, about 25 pounds. And I am still about a month plus after. This morning I weighed 157. So I am doing my maintenance phase right now to try to maintain and find homeostasis at this new body weight, so I don't rebound and get super fat again. It's really cool having a six pack. This might be inappropriate, but pow, got a six pack, right? Like, it's really cool. I love it. I love it. And I love going for runs or walks or going to the beach and like taking my shirt off now. It's really increased my confidence. And also I feel better. I feel lighter. I feel just more functional, and going upstairs isn't as hard. My knees feel better. Like, there's so many like little things like that you don't realize until you've lost a lot of weight. But I'm maintaining now, so I'm gonna do an equal amount of maintenance for how long my cut was, just in case I do have systemic diet fatigue. And so also my body finds a new normal here. So 3 months cutting. Now I'm going to do 3 months of maintenance. And then at the end of that maintenance phase, I'm going to reassess my goals, and I'm going to decide if I'm going to try to do 3 or 4 months of lean bulking, or if I'm going to do another 2 or 3 months maybe of cutting again to see if I can get super ultra diced, just to see if I can,
I love Alex winding this back just a little bit. How you said, I find balance by doing bodybuilding. And I'm like, you picked the most extreme hobby or sport to find your balance. But I can kind of relate from where I'm at.
Yeah.
Also dialing back real quick, you had mentioned some of the stress, or maybe you didn't say the word stress, but that's what I heard. Just trying to prioritize and organize your life based on what's most important to you. And you mentioned that like people in 9-to-5s might have things that are hard for them. Like I know the burnout rate for stockbrokers on Wall Street is super high. Like even the suicide rate is high.
Yes.
These are people just dealing with money, and you're dealing more so with lives at Karma Farm. So you, for me, are one of the few people that I feel I can really, really resonate with and understand what you're going through, and vice versa. You can understand what I'm going through when it's hard to take those personal moments or personal time. I messed up yesterday and forgot I had a project. So I worked from 8 a.m. until 9:45 p.m. with a half-hour break. And like, I know that's not something you would want me to do. So I feel like we're almost like, or whether or not you know it, we are accountability buddies for taking time off. It's inspired me when I saw you you came over to Tampa for a little bit and took a little bit of a step back. Yeah. And you were telling me that you're like basically recharging. So I think that's important for anybody that's trying to do a lot, even somebody with 100,000 plus subscribers. Sometimes they take some steps back, and it's not necessarily them being weak. It's them being smart enough to know that they got to carry the load again tomorrow or the next week. So I just wanted to put that out there for a second.
You can't pedal to the metal all the time. You can't mainline your engine 24/7. You have to do maintenance on yourself. You have to give yourself time to rest and recover so that way you can hit it hard again. And John, that's something you and I have resonated with ever since we became buddies, is that we both have no chill, and we have a very hard time taking time off. We have a very hard time not working around the clock. We're both workaholics. It's in our nature. Once we start, we can't stop. And it's important to have accountability buddies and people close to us in our lives to say, hey, I notice you haven't really taken care of yourself in a while, or you've been working around the clock. Like maybe you need to try to get some R&R. And even then, it's hard when you're an entrepreneur and you work wherever, like anywhere I have an internet connection, I can work. So I just like, and my phone's always in my pocket, and we're all addicted to our phones. I pull out my phone and I'm like, oh, I'll just negotiate this deal real quick. Or I'll just like, oh, I'll make this post real quick. And it doesn't stop. So having people in your life to like kind of force you into those healthy, restful habits is so important. And John, you and I are always like on like the fritz or the edge of burnout sometimes, and just like, okay, we got to really dial it back. And it takes effort from us, because that's just how we're wired to turn it off, right? And some people don't have that problem. And for those who do, it's so important to take time off or downtime, and to make downtime, even when there's a million things, a million fires that you have to put out, a million emergencies. If you can't care for yourself, how are you going to care for others, right? So I think that's a really important point you made.
You said it perfectly. Thank you. Mm-hmm. We're getting close to time here. Yeah. I have one more question, but I can let Brooke go first if she has any more too.
Yeah, no more questions. I'm good.
Okay. Well, I have to ask. I mean, I could have 5 million more questions, but just because I'm sure somebody would want to know what's the reason you decided to go vegan. Clearly, you love animals. You know, how old were you? What led to that? What advice would you give to somebody that's new on their vegan journey or thinking about going vegan?
Good question. So I grew up eating meat and dairy and cheese and all this and eggs every day of my life till I was 25 years old. Heck, I was raised as a hunter even. So that's the lifestyle I came from. Those are my family traditions. That's all I knew. I never thought about anything different. When I was 25 years old, one of my best friends and training partners at the time. We were training, we were lifting and doing long distance runs. And I noticed he just kept getting faster and faster. I've been long distance running my whole life. I'm very advanced as a distance runner, very, very good at it. But I was seeing him going from a beginner, and his progress was astounding. And I'm like, dude, how are you recovering so fast from these runs? You're keeping up with me on some of these workouts now. Like, this is incredible. And I tried to figure out what he was doing differently aside from just like genetics. And he said, I only eat plants. And my mind was blown. I'm sitting there like chugging whole milk and like eating chicken and eggs and stuff. I'm like, what do you mean you only eat plants? What? Like, blew my mind. Never thought about it before. So this was 11 years ago. I was 25. And I'm like, well, I've always been open to learning new things, trying new things, and listening to instruction from others. Try to keep an open mind, right? So I was just like, sure, I'll try. If you're getting results like that, I'll try anything, man. Sure. If I can get even faster than this, that'll be sweet. So I started eating what he was eating, like chia seeds and beans and rice and vegetables and stuff. And I felt great immediately. But then he showed me some documentaries. He's like, do you want to learn more about this? I'm like, yeah, sure. I want to learn all about this and understand why I'm feeling better. He showed me stuff like Vegucated, like there's some others back in the day we watched. But when he showed me Vegucated, and I saw one of like the slaughterhouse scenes, they showed just like a small clip of the animal cruelty side of stuff. I was just like, oh, whoa, what? And then he's like, oh, you want to see more of that? I'm like, I guess. He showed me Earthlings. All right. I sat down. I watched Earthlings from start to finish. I was covered in tears. I was a bawling wreck, and I was just like, why, God, why? This is terrible. I never want to be involved in anything that supports this ever again in any industry, whether that's food, scientific research, clothing, you name it. I was just like, no. If I can, to the best of my ability, I want to avoid having any kind of support for that stuff financially in my life as possible. I know it's in this day and age, it's all tied together. So all we can do is try our best, right? So nobody's ever perfect in this, but I was like, I want to do my best to avoid putting that karma out there, putting that bad juju out there. Like, that is awful, seeing what actually happens to animals. And when you see their face, you see their fear, you hear their screams. It hit me deep down in my soul. I went vegan overnight that day. So I never looked back. I mean, I didn't even know how to eat vegan. I was just like, I was at the grocery store just eating carrots, and and I heard people like vegans eat hummus. So I'm like dipping my carrots in the hummus. Like, that was how I started. I had no idea what I was doing. Eventually, I spent a bunch of time researching how to do a well-balanced vegan diet, which is super important, you guys. If you're going vegan, do your research and find out how to do a well-balanced plant-based diet that is right for you. There are so many options. It's really easy once you get the hang of it. Once you get the protein down, your macronutrients down, your micronutrients down. It's also micronutrient dense if you're eating whole foods plant-based. So you got all that stuff. And then I just did that for 11 years, and I continued bodybuilding during that time. I made some of the best gains. I got to my biggest size ever at 180 pounds about 7 or 8 years ago on that vegan diet. I was winning 5K races as like a 28, 29, 30-year-old. I was winning 5Ks road races. I was running like 17-minute 5Ks again as an adult that took 10 years off of running, basically. And I was on a plant-based diet. So anybody who says you can't compete athletically or you can't build muscle on it, that's completely false misinformation. You could do it on just about any diet. It's the same principles. You just need to know how to do it. And that's where these two, John and Brooke, are masterminds of this stuff. They have really perfected so many different ways to hit your fitness goals with a plant-based diet. And that's one of the things when I initially reached out to John on social media, because I'm like, bro, we have so much in common, blah, 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 blah. We started talking about bodybuilding because I love bodybuilding. I love it. And John has really helped take my bodybuilding to the next level just because you guys have been doing it for so long as vegans, and you're doing things I've never even thought of. And then now that I'm doing it, it's a no-brainer. I'm like, why didn't I think of this before? And I mean, the results, I have crazy results. I look insane right now. I've never looked this good in my life. And people on the streets are stopping and being like, I literally have people pull over when I'm walking roll down their window. I'm afraid I'm going to get shot. First off, I'm just like, oh, this person's going to shoot me right now. They roll down the window and they're like, hey, bro, you're jacked. Keep up the great work. And I'm just like, well, thank you. Like, it's a crazy experience. So you guys, you could do anything as a vegan on a plant-based diet that you can when you're eating any other kind of diet. And in fact, there may be some extra benefits involved cardiovascularly and other ways ethically as well. If you're into that stuff, there's so much well-documented research out there. Go check the studies. The science is all there. John, you know me, I'm a neurotic researcher. I read all the medical studies on everything I do to a freakish degree where I have like a crazy knowledge base on this stuff. And the scientific literature, the current scientific body fully agrees that a well-balanced plant-based diet is the healthiest in the world for any life stage, even pregnancy, even infancy, even childhood. So you just have to know what you're doing, do your own research, go find good information. Don't just listen to some influencer online. Find a bunch of sources of information, verify with the scientific studies. And if you really want to take things to the next level, get a coach, get somebody who's been doing this forever, who knows how to guide people and get results. Like these people get, John and Brooke, if you're listening, I'm pointing at them on the screen. They get folks ripped, super jacked. Okay. And I've been following their principles to get where I am right now. I got an 8-pack. I got veins in my back and my abs. Like I look nuts. It's super cool. And when I tell people I'm vegan, you see that light bulb moment. Their minds explode, right? And it's such a cool feeling. And the effect that has in terms of changing hearts and minds to a more positive outlook towards veganism or a plant-based diet cannot be understated, because these are the misconceptions and the stereotypes that are plaguing social media right now in our general bro talk society. Oh, you're a soy boy, this or that. But I'm like, oh man, all the soy boys I hang out with are the most jacked people I know. Like if you hang out with me and my soy boys, like you're gonna feel like a twink or something. You're gonna feel like a skinny little, you know what I mean? Like I'm telling you, I hang out with the most jacked vegans ever, and it's basically all I know right now in my social circles. So when people make fun of vegans for being skinny or weak, I'm just like, what world are you on? It's different than the one I'm on. Because I think a lot of us vegans feel like we have something to prove now, because we are disproving those stereotypes and proving to people that you can get huge and jacked and ripped and super healthy and fit as a plant-based athlete.
Thank you so much, Alex. I love you, dude. It's always awesome to hang out and talk. And I feel like I need to pay you now for all the promotion you just did, or at least donate to Karma Farm a little something. But seriously, thank you for coming on, man. We'll definitely have to have you back once you hit 250,000 subs on YouTube. So like sometime next month, we'll reach out.
Oh my God, that'd be amazing.
Sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you, dude, more than one of the people on here will ever know. But you guys support him, go follow him, follow his sanctuary, share the word, because you have power here. Where you spend your money, where you share things on social media, those can be huge ways to change the world. Thank you, Alex. Brooke, if you got anything else, I'll let you throw that and then you can close us out. I'm good. I'm done. I know you got to run, Alex, and we got something else coming up too. So thank you, brother.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, just thank you for coming on, and thank you for all you do. And yeah, you're just such a positive influence in our community, and we need more people like you. But yeah, thank you so much for your time today, Alex.
Thank you so much, Brooke. And I will always rep you guys, by the way, because not only am I helping my friends, you guys, but anybody you work with has had tremendous results. I've seen it over years, and I am friends with a lot of your clients, and they have told me firsthand many times the quality of their lives has gone through the roof since they've started working with you. So for other people's benefit is why I recommend you guys for people to work with. It's life-changing.
Aww.
Yeah.
Could not have a better promotion than that. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. That's awesome.
All right. Thank you, dude. Everybody, this has been an awesome, wonderful episode of Vegans Who Live podcast. Make sure, again, you go follow and subscribe to Alex on all his channels. Share this, put it out there. We appreciate you. We love you. Have the absolute best day ever. Catch you next time.
Thank you, guys.